What a nightmare. What a nightmare. Welcome to the first edition of Mint Meat Mazza. Um, yeah. I've experimented with stuff as you guys can see. And yeah, it's midweek. This is gonna be the show that replaces the Waffle House during the week. And when this goes, I'll probably edit it a little bit. But yeah, man, welcome back to the channel. And the midweek Mazza is just a general sports show. It's gonna be mostly Arsenal, mostly football. But every now and then we're gonna pop in with some other sports, man. And as you can see, I've got the pink jersey and I've got the boy Bam Adebayo. And we're gonna talk about him tonight. But yeah, this is gonna be one of my quicker streams, and by quicker, I'm trying to keep under an hour because the Bruised Banana's going on, and I want to watch it over at Shane Gooner's channel. But yeah, I'm gassed, right? So yeah, let's talk. Let's talk about where should we start? Let's start with the Champions League. Let's start with Champions League. It was not a great first leg for British teams. Arsenal squeaked a 1-1 draw with a honestly blatantly soft penalty. It was a penalty by the European standards, but yeah, I think it was a little bit soft, man. If I'm being honest, I think it was a little bit soft. But it went our way, and that's good enough for me. But as I've been saying on and on again, I feel like it's gotten to a point where our ugly football is starting to catch up, and there will be a point where we don't get out of it. You know, where we don't actually we don't get the points, or we don't progress, or they get the best of us. At this point, I feel like Mikel Arteta has nothing to lose. He has nothing to lose. He just needs to throw caution to the wind. And just allow our attackers to be free, man. One thing that I've said, and one thing that, you know, I've heard people talk about, bro, the guy does not sit down and stop shouting. And if you watch the match, if you watched it on Prime or TNT or whatever it was on, when the commentator stopped talking, you could hear him shouting. And it's like, bro, as a coach myself, man, like, you don't need to shout the entire 90 minutes. You don't need to shout, you go here. That's what training is for. The training is for you to tell the players what's going on and what you're supposed to do. You don't need all the other stuff. But yeah, he just needs to chill a little bit. But we're not just here to talk about Arsenal, man. We're here. This show is to talk about our rivals. Now, I've left two of the other English teams out. So I've left Newcastle out because I thought 1-1, good result. I mean, Barca are expected to put them away. And then Liverpool, they lost 1-0 against Galatasaray. I don't feel like that's worth bantering. Yes, they lost, but they only lost by a goal. No, I'm here to talk about the demolishings that happen on the other side of the bracket. Not our side, the other side, right? And people will say that's shameless, but I don't care. It's my channel, and I'm going to be shameless. So who should we start with? Which of the ops should we start with? Let's start in London, shall we? Oof. And we start with Chelsea. Now, the Chelsea match was interesting because in the first half, it looked like Chelsea and PSG were going neck and neck, and I couldn't believe it. 2-2. I'm like, bro, Chelsea giving PSG a game. And then I think Chelsea celebrated a little too hard with the second goal. And in the words of Michael Jordan, who PSG usually wears, I took that personally. And they put them boys to the sword. That's crazy. They put them to the sword. And it couldn't happen to a better team. you hear Chelsea fans talking, oh, we've got European pedigree. Yeah, we're not good in the league, but we got European heritage. Yeah, we got European pedigree. That pedigree didn't help you last night, guys. Demolishing. And I love it. And I put Usman Dembele there. I'm pretty sure that's him, yeah. I love it. I love to see it. I love to see Chelsea. Because they're not going through. They're not going through the next round. You can't bring back John Terry. You can't bring back Petr Cech. You can't bring back Hazard and Drogba. They gone. I love it, bro. I love it. Did anybody expect Chelsea to go through? Probably not. But I didn't expect them to get bopped like that. That's crazy. And I'm just laughing, right? And people will probably be like, man, but y'all drew. Yeah, but losing and drawing, two different things to start off with. But getting bopped off the park, championship pedigree, big Chelsea, world champions doing this to the world champions badge. Yeah, PSG, you might have got that. You might have won that battle, but PSG are gonna make you pay for it. And yeah, man, when it comes to PSG, that Kvara, man, Kvaratskhelia. When I think that we could have had that guy, bro, when we could have just paid for, like, no disrespect to the left wingers we have, no disrespect to attackers, but when you look at what PSG paid for him, Arsenal could have paid that. I mean, imagine having Kvara at left wing rather than having the ghost of Trossard and run out of Bonzanelli. Like, yeah, man, it could have been different. Life could have been different. But yeah, PSG smacking Chelsea. Great night. And PSG are through, man. I don't see, even at Stamford Bridge, I don't see the ghost of Chelsea's past coming back to help them. It's not happening. All PSG had to do is score one, and that tie is Dunski's. Set up shop, and that's it. And I think they won't. I think PSG will go at them at Stamford Bridge just to prove a point. Now, being objective from the other side, I know what this kind of defeat feels like, Chelsea. I've been there. Baku, to you guys, I felt it. In the Champions League, Bayern muted. Watching Arjen Robben, Frank Ribery, Lewandowski. Watching those guys score 5 against Arsenal. I've been there, guys. It hurts. But I'm shameless, and it couldn't happen to a better team. I hope that World Championship badge keeps you extra warm at night. I hope being world champions, I hope having the pedigree keeps you warm, because you ain't winning nothing this season, Chelsea. I'm sorry. It's tough. But yeah, PSG look good. As expected, probably going to go to the next round. And they're probably going to face Liverpool. Liverpool's got to play Galatasaray at Anfield. And I just don't see how Liverpool don't score 2 goals at Anfield. So yeah, it looks like it'll be PSG. Liverpool, and great shout, bro. Great shout. I'm happy for it. All right. Now, moving on to our Premier League title rivals. Oof. Beating Madrid ain't for everybody. It's rough. Now this one, I know I'm bantering because it's the Mazza show. I'm bantering. I'm taking the mic, but I'm gonna be an Arsenal fan for 2 seconds. This is a result I did not want. As much as it feels good to watch Manchester City get pumped by Real Madrid, this is not the result we wanted, guys. As Arsenal fans, we want Manchester City in every competition they can be in. And we want them to be in every hard competition. Now, getting bopped in the first leg away from home, Real Madrid, not scoring a goal, down 3 goals. Pep has a decision to make. Right? Pep has a decision to make. And unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be a decision that Arsenal fans like. 1 second. Pep can go one of two ways. Pep can look at it and say, we're 7 points behind in the league with 3 goals down. Do I give everything at home to come back and progress because the Champions League is my best chance at a trophy? Or do I come back the home leg, put the kids out there, lose, and put everything toward the Prem? In my humble opinion, I think it's the latter. I think that 3-0 Real Madrid, yeah, they might be able to beat them, but guess what, guys? KDB and Gundogan ain't coming around the corner for Man City. Ederson's not coming around the corner for Man City. So, yeah, I just think that if I'm Pep with the City squad I have now, I'll put a competitive team against Real Madrid, but I ain't going for it. Dump me out. It's fine. Dump me out, rest, beat Arsenal in the Carabao Cup, then go try to win the league. That's that. If I'm Pep, that's my mindset. And that's not what Arsenal fans wanted. That's not what we wanted. We wanted a 2-1, a 2-2, a draw, something, a 1-1, something to make City believe that the Champions League is one of their best routes for a trophy. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. Because now City can rest their players in the second leg if they throw it away. We can't do that. We have to play strong because we fumbled the first leg. And it makes it harder for Arsenal fans. And it's sad, bro. It's devastating when you think about it. Yeah, man. But as I said, it could be one of those things where we see that City. This is not the same City. It's not the same City. It's not the Centurion City. It's not the Treble City. It's a different city, and they're not as good, man. Haaland's out of form. Gahey's all over the joint. They look disheveled at times. But one thing I do know is if Pep throws all his eggs in the basket, he's gonna give you everything he's got in whatever competition he's decided to go in. And it's going to be tough, man. Arsenal has to show that we have the mentality and we have the fight to want to win it. We're 7 points clear. We win against Everton. We're 10 points clear before they have to play. If they drop points, we 9 points clear. Or we're 10 points clear. And things start looking a little bit better. So we need to go beat Everton and hope that City drop points in the league, because then that changes things. That whole thing I just said, it changes things. Because if we go 10 points clear, even though they have a game in hand, Pep will now look at it and say, which is easier? Clawing back those 10 points or clawing back 3 goals? And it'll give him a tough choice. But man, that's not the result we wanted. That's not the result we wanted as Arsenal fans. Now, as a neutral, you love to see it. Real Madrid aren't the same team either. But they take their chances. And I think that a lot of football now, I feel like football is going away from the glamour. And it's going toward efficiency and defensive prowess. But Real Madrid play a certain way. And when they get chances, they put goals away, bro. And that's dangerous. That's dangerous. So, yeah. Real Madrid looks like they could be moving through, but you never know. Who else is on the side of that bracket? I also didn't talk about Bayern Munich because they're definitely through. They smacked Atalanta away from home, 6-1. There's no point in even talking about it, bro, because, yeah, it's Bayern Munich. I didn't expect 6, but, yeah, that tie is over. They'll probably rest, and, they probably wrapped up the Bundesliga as well. So, yeah, it doesn't matter, bro. It doesn't matter. So yeah, City, Chelsea, getting bopped. It feels good. It makes me warm inside. Now let's move on to the gift that just keeps on giving. Tottenham Hotspur of N17, North London. Oof. That's all I can say. Oof. Tottenham fans. This is the thing, right? And I know Tottenham fans. And the Tottenham fan I know, I will say, I give him the credit. He is very level-headed. He admits that they're trash. But he admits that he's a fan. And I can't fault that. I can't fault loving your team even though they're absolutely atrocious. Can't fault that at all. What I can fault, though, is the chest that Tottenham fans were giving. You guys are in the relegation battle. Did you think that in the Champions League you're going to do any better? There's one thing that you can't do is try to scumbag a victory versus Diego Simeone. The man is the master at it. You can't try to get a scummy win against Atletico Madrid. It's not happening. And the fact that Spurs were down 3-0 inside of 30 minutes? I was on stream. I wasn't even watching. And somebody said you should check the Spurs score. And I checked it and they were getting bopped. And the only thing that I'm disappointed in is the fact that Atletico looked like they took their foot off the gas and they allowed them to score too. They gave them hope. I don't want Spurs to have any hope. I wanted them to lose 5-0, 6-0, and go back in their hobbit hole. Big up, Jack. Welcome to Midweek Mazza. Just talking about our rivals. Since you're in here, we've already gone over this calamity and this calamity. And now we're on the gift that keeps giving. But yeah, Spurs, man, like, they could be in the championship, man. They could be in the championship. And I'm torn, right? I'm torn. The Arsenal fan in me says, relegate them to the championship. But the football fan in me says, that's a year or two without the North London Derby. And I love the North London Derby. I love it. Because it's an opportunity every season for 6 points. I love it. And I think it'll suck if they're not around. But they're terrible. They're awful in every competition. And I'm not understanding how Spurs fans can have the chest to say that they're as big a club as Chelsea or City. They know they're not as big as Arsenal. They know they're not as big as United. I don't even know how they got in the Big Six conversation. The only thing that Arsenal, not Arsenal, sorry. Ugh, I got Arsenal on the brain. Only thing that Spurs has that would qualify them to be in a Big Six conversation is a shiny new stadium. And a Europa League. I'm not going to hate. Europa League. But how do you qualify that, right? You haven't won the league since the 60s. You haven't won a trophy. Well, I think 2008 was the last trophy they won. Was it the FA Cup? Domestically? How did you get into the Big Six? Arsenal at least got FA Cups. They've gone invincible. We know how we got here. Man City, we know how they got there. Chelsea, obvious. Liverpool, obvious. United, obvious. How did Tottenham Hotspur make themselves a Big Six club? And if they go down to the championship, they can't be. What will all of the other channels do? Does Tobes leave the Big Six? Do people stop talking to Deji? I mean, expressions. Best of enemies. He out of there. So, yeah, I just don't get where they get this confident. And I know you got to be confident in your team. But you can back your team. You can say, oh, I think we'll win. You got to throw another team under the bus, man. Y'all trash. And that's being honest. It's being respectful. Y'all trash. I got nothing more to say, bro. They have basura, exactly. They basura garbaje. That's what they are. And long may continue, cause I don't like the Tottenham Hotspur. And that, let me tell you guys, right? And I tell the story rarely, right? So when me and my wife were picking teams, and I was still just unsure. We were in a football top store. We were like a soccer shop, if you will. And I remember she was looking at jerseys, and she's like, "Oh, I like this Arsenal one." I was like, "I don't know," because red's not really my color. Red has become my color, but back in those days, I liked blue. And she was like, "We got Chelsea, and you got this one." And I remember looking at it, and I said, "Why would I want a chicken on a beach ball?" This before I knew anything about Tottenham. I was like, "It looks like a chicken on a beach ball. Is that what it is?" Obviously, it's a cockerel on a football. I know that now. But their kid, I was just like, you look at the United badge, you look at the Arsenal badge, you look at the Chelsea badge, the City badge, the Liverpool badge. Every one of their badges has something about it. Something that you like, man, that's awesome. Chicken on a beach ball, bro. Nando's, exactly. I love Nando's, by the way. I love Nando's. Nando's is one of my joints, man. It is the one thing I wish we had in America is Nando's. I love Nando's. Peri chicken, top tier. Big up Elwood for coming in. But yeah, man. Yeah, it's just I never felt like I wanted to be a Spuds fan. And I'm so glad I'm not. So glad. I go crazy. And my mate, man, who I work with, every time he comes in, he just hangs his head in shame. And I'm like, I feel bad for the guy, bro. Like, it started off me bantering him when he came in. It started with me bantering when he came in. And you ever just see, like, when you're bantering so much, it feels like bullying? That's how I feel at this point with him now. Like, it feels, because he's a good guy. He just picked the wrong team. So I just give him looks now. I'm like, and he's like, yep. And that's it. That's the whole conversation. I don't want to bully nobody, man. Right? But online, oh yeah, I'm trashing the team. You guys are awful. Tottenham Hotspur. Gross. We won the league at White Hart Lane. And you know what I love too, right? The story that I love the most, right? And I wish I had witnessed this in person. It's Thierry Henry when he talks about how we won the league at the Lane. And he's like, they score, we're up and they score an equalizer. And he comes back and he says that the players are like celebrating in his face. And he's like, what are you celebrating for? What are you celebrating a draw for? You know we only needed a point to win at your place. And they're just celebrating. And then after the match, he said before the match, we were told not to celebrate, not to cause a ruckus. But he said when they started celebrating, he was like, oh, okay, we'll show you how to celebrate. And then they did laps around White Hart Lane, bro. And I love that story because that shows you what kind of club Tottenham is. Celebrating draws. Bro, I saw a Tottenham fan, right? And I'll never do this. I love Arsenal, right? I will never say I want Arsenal to lose. I want Arsenal to lose to keep Spurs from winning. I would never say that. I never want Arsenal to lose. If Spurs happen to win, will I be salty? Yes. I will be salty. But I never want Arsenal to lose. I will never cheer for a team scoring against the Arsenal. I've seen it. I've seen Spurs fans do it. I saw them cheering when Son missed the goal. Small club mentality, bro. I don't hate Tottenham more than I love the Arsenal. I don't. It's small club mentality, bro. I hate it. Jack said, I get the Nando's peri peri sauce from Whole Foods out here. Yeah, man, I like the sauce. I like the garlic and herb sauce. That joint is amazing. Amazing. Um, yeah, man. Now I want a peri peri chicken, man. I might go. I might go Nando's tomorrow. That might be the thing. Because I recorded every day this week so far. And I wasn't supposed to. But because my wife gone, I've been filling my time with YouTube and talking to the community. So I don't regret it. Not gonna lie, I want them relegated because they're way too. Yeah, bro. Like I said, they got a lot of chest for a team that hasn't won the Prem in the won the first division or the Prem in the color TV era. You got to go into the library archives to see the last time they won the Prem. How are you the big six? How you got the chest? Yeah, it's been 20 years for us, and it was 20 years for Liverpool before they won. But bro, 61. We nearly at the 65th anniversary, bro. England has won the World Cup more recently than you've won the first division. How are you with chest? How are you cocky? I don't understand it. I don't understand the madness. So yeah. Spuds, gift to keep giving. I'm sad that Atletico Madrid let them score 2. I hope to the heavens that they go back to the Spuds and Atleti put at least 4 more goals on them. I want 5-0 so that I can sing "You Got 10-2" as well. All right, so that's Spuds. Let's get them off my screen. I don't want to see them anymore. All right, the other games I didn't want to do a graphic because I'm hating on the rivals, but we gotta talk about Bodo Glimt real quick. And I don't have a graphic Bodo Glimt, but Bodo Glimt, I said they were gonna beat Sporting Lisbon, but yeah, I didn't think they was gonna pam them. Like I didn't think it was damn. Like dang, like when you think about Bodo Glimt, what are they? Norwegian? Swedish? But you think about the Portuguese league, you think it's Sporting, like give them run for their money. Like no. And when we progress, because I think we'll beat Bayer Leverkusen, and if we don't, the manager, he's on thin ice. You're on thin ice, buddy. If we don't beat Leverkusen, but Bodo Glimt, man, they're not gonna be easy. Yeah, we've beat them before, but there's something we saw it with Crystal Palace last year. Once you feel, as a smaller team, as a team that's not used to winning trophies, once you feel like you can get the first scout, you feel like you can get them all. And yes, Sporting Lisbon's not as big as Arsenal, but they've beaten some teams, bro. They've beaten some teams in the Champions League. They've taken teams to the wire. They're no mugs. They're no slouch. So imagine beating Sporting Lisbon, and then they come to us and say, we've beaten teams. We've made it to the quarterfinals. Let's go beat Arsenal. They got to play. We're at home first. Let's beat them down at home and hold on away from home. They're not going to be easy, bro. Bodo Glimt they're not going to be a walk in the park. They're not going to be a cakewalk. So, yeah, it's something to watch, man. It's something to watch. But the Champions League, Mick, we have to take into consideration is that being the mighty Arsenal, we have a huge target on our back. Exactly, we do. And this is why I get frustrated. And this is an Arsenal show, so we talk about Arsenal. This is why I get frustrated, Jack, about how we play games. We know that we have a target on our back, but our manager plays like he has a target on our back. He plays like he's scared, like like he's the rabbit and Elmer Fudd's about to come around the corner, and he's Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote is around the corner. Except Roadrunner always comes up with something to outsmart Wile E. Coyote. Our manager, he has not shown in 6 years that he can come up with, Wile E. Coyote is Manchester City. That's our Wile E. Coyote. Our Elmer Fudd, Manchester City. And we just don't have any ideas. We don't pull anything out of a hat. We don't reach. Waxily Wabbit. Yeah, we don't reach out of thin air and pull anything. We don't paint fake tunnels. We don't do any of that. We just stand there and let ourselves be eaten. For once, I want to see Arsenal. I want to see our manager say, you know what? This is it, guys. I'm leaving at the end of the season. The stress is getting to me. We're going for it. He doesn't have to tell us that. Go into the locker room and say, this is it. I know this is my last chance. Guys, defense, I need you to be strong. Attackers, I'm going to sit on the bench. Produce. All of you guys have talent. Madueke, you've got talent. Saka, you've got talent. Gyökeres, you got talent. Havertz, you got talent. Trossard, you got talent. Martinelli, I wish you had talent. And I was playing. But Martinelli, you have talent. Show me you want to be champions. I will sit down. You won't hear from me on the bench. If I let you guys run free, repay my faith with something. But he won't do that. This guy is all about control. He's a control freak. He sits there, and I said this at the beginning. He sits there and he talks the entire match. Timber, do that. Eze, do that. Victor, go over there. Urian, you're too close. Like, bro, they're footballers. They get paid hundreds of thousands of pounds a week. They know what they're doing. That's what practice is for. That's what practice is for. If you have to coach somebody on a game day, you have not done enough in practice. You haven't done enough in training. I was told that as a young coach. Because, and I hold my hands up, and this is what I say. When I was a young coach like Mikel, when I first started, it's funny because I'm a defensive lineman by trade. But I started coaching like when I was allowed to have the reins of a unit. I started coaching the O-line. And in the beginning, I would do the same. I'd be like, listen, get your splits right. That guy's coming, right? Or this, like, I wasn't as mental as Mikel Arteta. But I would be on the sideline shouting like, you got to do this, you got to do this. And then you get to a point where you realize that's not helping. The players aren't responding to it because they're nervous because I'm shouting at them. And it's something I had to learn as a coach. I didn't do it long. I wasn't doing it for like 5 games. But my first game, that's what I did. Because I had guys who never played before, and I thought that if I helped them, if I shouted them to look out for this or do that was helping. It's not. It didn't help them. Because in your mind, when your coach is shouting at them, you don't always hear what he's saying. You hear his tone. You hear him shouting at you. So as a player, in the moment, you second guess everything. Is he mad that I'm not doing something? Not that he's helping me. Not that coach is trying to highlight something for me. I'm new to this. I don't know what I'm doing, and my coach is yelling at me. You know, I'm new to this team. This is my first season at the team, and my coach keeps telling me I'm doing something wrong or I'm in the wrong position. But that affects your confidence. And I know, I just said these players make $100,000, but confidence in sports means something. And when your coach is yelling at you, when your coach is micromanaging you, it takes away from your performance. And I had to learn that as a coach. I had to sit there and say, I'm not helping. And you know what I did? I made sure that my practices got my point across. I made sure that my practices were detailed to things that I would see in film. I made sure that my practices, I taught them the little things. I went over what they did wrong in the last game and how to improve that. And then the next game, you know what I did? I let them free. I said, you guys go out there. I told you what you were doing wrong. You saw what to do in practice. Do it right. Do your best. And guess what? They did. I was voted coach of the year because I trusted those guys. And when they came off the sideline in halftime, I told them, this is what I see out there. You guys doing a great job. This is what I see out there. Keep it going. Do I still shout? Yeah. Because I tell players sometimes when they do wrong, because you got to. It's American football. But I don't shout everything. If they're going to be outside, I shout at them for that. If they, offensive line, you got to be close to the line, or it's an illegal formation, I shout that. But I'm not shouting everything every time. I'm not nitpicking everything because that kills confidence. Like Jack said, players are nervous. Arsenal players look scared because Arteta has lots of options. Our players rarely look happy. Bro, Alexis Sanchez used to smile while playing the game. Mesut Ozil, right? That guy used to walk around, but when he made an assist, when he made somebody look stupid, bro, you saw the joy in the player's face. I don't see joy from this. And I'm not getting joy from watching it. Like Jack said, the hard work happens far away from the lights. Yes, if you are a good manager, if you're a good coach, then your work is done on the training pitch. Your work is done on the practice field. Your work is done on the practice court. It's done on the ice in practice. Whatever sport, your work is done away from the actual competition. The competition, the only thing that you should be telling your players is, listen, I've seen this adjustment. We didn't get that, because it happens. As a manager, that happens. You game plan for something an entire week, then the manager has come out and he's done something else. And you sit there, you look at what the other manager's done, and you said, okay, well, I got that one wrong. I thought he was going to come out in this. He's hit me with the okie doke. This is how we're adjust. That's how good managers do. That's what Pep does. You saw it in his documentary. That's what Klopp does. You saw it in the Liverpool documentaries. But our manager want light bulbs and moments and feeling guys. North London forever guys. Like, no, bro. Show me something. Let the players play. Let the guys have some freedom. That's all I want out of them. Let them have some freedom, bro. And I think, and honestly, people ask me, bro, I watched the Arsenal training sessions. Arteta looks comfy, relaxed, making jokes. During the games, he's pacing up and down, shouting, it's sucky. He raises my blood pressure. It should be the opposite. Bro, in training, my players should dang near hate me. Not hit me. Hate me. They should hate me. They should be done with me because I'm so meticulous in training. We need to get this right. My players, bro, when I played football, I didn't like my coaches during practice, bro. I'm running sprints. I'm doing drill. I'm like, bro, I don't want to do this. Why we keep doing the other, bro? Why we doing another drill? Angry, bro. But guess what? On game day, when I hit people with the swim, or I hit people with that, and I got a sack, I got a tackle for a loss, I'm like, dang, I did this in practice. I knew what to do. And that's when you have fun, because you're like, dang, yeah, man, he was harder than me on practice. But we cooking. Big up, Cooper. Welcome to the midweek master. As I said, we just talking about Arteta. But yeah, bro, when I was playing, I hated practice. Practice was the worst part of the experience for me, bro. And it's not like that for everybody. You got your I think I hated practice because we used to do 3-a-days. Back when you could do 3-a-days, back in South Florida. But and it's hot, bro. I don't know if y'all know the summer is hot in South Florida. You running suicides and gashers in 90-degree heat. Yeah, bro. It's not fun. So yeah. When I was in practice, it sucked. Sweating, you doing drills. But when we got in the game and you saw what that practice gave you, what hitting the sled hard gave you, what doing the drills over and over, repetition gave you. And my coaches, as a defensive lineman, I never had to get shouted at. They were never on the sideline shouting, do this. Now me, I'm a little bit different. So if they shouting, you know, if they shouting, oh, he's in motion, then I'm like, I know, okay, I know what play it is. That's the kind of shouting I signed up for. Not, you know, Mickey, you offsides. Mickey, Mickey, you didn't get to the right hole. Like, no, bro. No, that wasn't helpful to me. And I learned that as a coach. It wasn't helpful to my players. Mikel Arteta needs to just say, listen, I trained you guys the best I can. Most of you have already been the first team at other clubs. You know what I expect of you. We've practiced it. Go out there and do a good job. But why does he do that, Jack? Why does he do it, Cooper? You know why? Because this is his first job. He's a young coach. He's never had the... Mikel Arteta lucked into the greatest job opportunity in history. Greatest job opportunity in history. That's diabolical. Don't do it, Jack. Mickey Arteta. Oh, bro. No, thank you. No, thank you. I don't even got an Arteta jersey. I remember when he was a player, I wasn't feeling him either. But Mikel Arteta basically came, like you said, from college and got a CEO job. He left uni and got a CEO job. Who said that? Was it Kate? Darkside? One of those guys said that. And big up for them for saying it. But that's what it is. I think it was Darkside this morning. You get a bachelor's degree. Just finished. That's like finishing medical school and then getting told you're the head surgeon at Miami General. Jackson Memorial is what it's called. You know, the General Hospital in New York City. Hey, bro, you just graduated medical school. Now you're the head surgeon at a New York City General Hospital. No one does that. They apply their trade. And I was unimpressed with the Arteta signing because of that. Because I said this guy hasn't actually experienced another team. And I will give Mikel Arteta credit. I think if we had let Unai Emery have a little bit more time, or we gotten another manager in, and Mikel Arteta had gotten a job, let's say at Real Sociedad or Parma in Italy, he had gotten to learn his trade somewhere. I think that when he came here, when we actually hired him, I think we would have won already. But because he never had that experience, he's never had to face ultras. He's never had to face, a board bearing down on him, because we've given him unlimited support. Oh, you finished 8th. It's okay, we'll back you. Oh, you finished 8th again. It's okay, we'll back you. You want to get rid of Aubameyang? It's okay, we'll get rid of him. You want to get rid of Ozil? He's gone. You want to get rid of Guendouzi because he protected one of your players? He's got an attitude, he's gone. You want to get rid of all of the players that won the FA Cup? They're out of here. You want to finish 5th again? It's okay, Mikel. You close, good job. We'll give you more time. Oh, and here's a new contract. You finished 2nd. And now, in year 7, after 6 years, now you want to say, oh man, we have to win trophies. No, he should have been trying to win trophies in the first 4. But he's had unlimited support with limited success. And then you hear people like Liverpool who want to get rid of Slot. The man won the league. And they're like, no, I don't like the way he plays. I don't like his this. I don't like his that. Get rid of him. Liverpool. Chelsea. I don't like how these... Even Spurs. This guy won them a European trophy. You out of there. You finished 17th. Spurs. But we're okay with just competing. We're okay with getting close. Most points and feeling, guys. He should have never got the job. And I'll tell you this, Cooper and Jack, still in the chat. Made that rhyme, cuz. But I'll tell you this: if Mikel Arteta leaves or he gets sacked, I would be willing to put a small amount of money on the fact that I think our next manager will be Cesc Fabregas. I don't think that if Mikel Arteta left, we would go get an Ancelotti. We would go get a Simeone. I don't think we would. I think our next manager would be somebody like Xabi Alonso. But I think Xabi Alonso is going to Liverpool. That's my other thing. But I think it would be Cesc Fabregas. Jack Wilshere's coaching. If he does a good job. Wasn't Aaron Ramsey coaching as well? So, yeah, man, I feel like it'll be that. I don't feel like we'll go and say, Ancelotti. Brazil, you just had the World Cup. Carlo, look at it. Look at this Rolls Royce. Big up Waffle Don. Big up Elwood as well. Look at this Rolls Royce. Carlo, come. They're not going to say that. Arsenal, because if Arsenal were going to get a Carlo Ancelotti, we'd have got Carlo Ancelotti before we got Mikel Arteta. We wouldn't have got Unai Emery. And I love Unai Emery. You guys know, I started watching Sevilla first. I was in Spain, living in Spain when they won the 2 Europa Leagues. I love Sevilla. I always called them my first love, and Arsenal was my true love. But I know what Unai Emery was from watching him. European Cup, mid-European Cup, the Europa League, he will get you that. Villa probably have a very good chance in the Europa League. But he'll get you top 4. He'll get close. 4th, 5th. He's not going to win you the league. He's not going to win you the Champions League. We know what he was. And he showed us. We got to Europa League final. Our only European final in the last, 10 years? We finished 5th. When we probably should have hit top 4. We know what Emery is. But if we had been serious about turning it around, we'd have gone and got a big manager. We didn't want a big manager. We actually wanted Mikel Arteta the first time. Unai Emery was just a scapegoat. He was never going to be backed. Because Mikel is who they wanted from time. But if we were serious about being winners, we'd have brought in a winner. And we didn't. We brought in a project. And here we are. Year 7 of the project. Still hoping and praying. There are fans that are no longer with us who still hoping and praying they'll see, or who were hoping and praying they'd see another title. We still haven't got there. And it's a sad reality. Jack said he's an intern that was made CEO. Exactly. I'm done with player managers. Yeah, I don't want them, but I feel like this is how the club's going to go. I'd only accept Thierry Henry. My thing, Jack, too, about Thierry Henry, right? Why is he not at the club? We have a problem striking the football. And you've got one of the greatest striker, if not the greatest player that the Prem has seen, who played for your club. And you can't get that man down to the training ground to teach Vic Gyökeres how to trap a ball? To teach Saka how to maybe use his other foot? Chop somebody? Do something? Dennis Bergkamp, why is he not at the ground? Robert Pires, why aren't they at the ground, bro? Why are these attacking players there? Patrick Vieira, why is he not working with Wright? Like, you rarely see these guys. Even Ian Wright. Ian Wright, he's at the club, but is he on the training ground? Why? Why is he not? Even I've done that, bro. I've had ex-players of my club come down who went on to play GB, who went on to play, at higher levels. Because it shows your players what level they can reach. But also there's wisdom. There's wisdom there. Hey, I've done this. I've won the Prem. Thierry, I've won the Champions League with Barcelona. I know how to do it. I got us to the Champions League final. I know how to do it. Why aren't these guys at the club? Why do we never see them? But, we see light bulbs and pickpockets because our manager loves that. L would say, I can see that happening with Fab. I can too. And I honestly think that. I think that Xabi Alonso will go to Liverpool. He's gone undefeated with Leverkusen. Real Madrid didn't work out because Real Madrid is just a chocolate job. Like, I mean, if Real Madrid offered me the manager job, I'd take it because it's Real Madrid. But I know that I ain't lasting long. I might be there a year and a half. But hey, I got the coach for Real Madrid. Like, that's probably the most toxic coaching job in sports. You know what? I think there's three. There's three most toxic jobs, right? In sports. Two of them are in America. Real Madrid, the New York Yankees, and the LA Lakers. Three most toxic jobs in sports. That's my opinion. I think, everywhere else you can go and maybe have some time. Barcelona's, it'd be a little toxic, but not as toxic as Real Madrid. Man United, be a little toxic, but they gave Amarim time. Lakers, Yankees, toxic. Knicks is probably too a little bit toxic, but yeah. Jack said they should have Henry as a consultant. They got money to throw around. Yeah, we paying $300,000 for Bukayo after he's scored 5 goals maybe. Maybe I'm being generous. So yeah, we do have money. I mean, we giving Martinelli $200K to do cardio. So yeah, you're right, bro. With how Martinelli and Trossard play, there are times, and this is just jokes, but there are times where I feel like, bro, give Henry a contract. I think at his big age, he can probably still give you more legs than Trossard. I'm just saying. And we watched Henry at Red Bulls, and he was not Thierry that they fell in love with. He's not, France and Arsenal and Barcelona Thierry. He said Jesus gets, who gets paid for nothing? Norgard. He gets paid for less than, an hour worth of match time in 40-plus games? Yeah. Elwood bring Luis Enrique. I agree. Especially if Luis Enrique, he's won Ligue 1. He's won the Champions League. They've done all of the French Cups and all that stuff. I think if this club is serious about winning, the best thing we can do is even if we win, we say, all right, Mikel, thank you for everything. Go out on a high. We'll bring in Enrique. And I think Mikel should walk anyway. I know he won't because his ego won't allow him. But if I was Mikel Arteta and I've just done this race after race after race after race for 7 years, that's what Klopp did. Klopp did it. It burnt Klopp out. Klopp was like, I've taken this Manchester City. We got 99 points and did not win the league. It's tough, bro. It's tough going against City. And I know it's exhausting. And Klopp said, I need a break. And he left. Mikel won't do it because Mikel's ego is different. Klopp knows, listen, I got to leave. It's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. I've given him everything. But if he was a real coach, if he cared about Arsenal, he'd say, we won it. We finally did it. And he said, all right, guys, I've delivered on my promise. I've delivered on the project. And now I need a break. Now I want to go try a new challenge. And I love the Arsenal fans. Thanks for sticking with me. We made it right off into the sunset. This guy won't do that. And we won't fire him if he wins. But my problem with Arsenal has always been, since I've been a fan, when we got rid of Wenger, we never do things proactively. We always just react. Wenger, when he not the last FA Cup, the one before, when he won that one and the stadium debt was paid off, they should have said, Uncle Vings, thank you so much for everything you've done. You kept this club in good spirit. We were in the Champions League. You won us an FA Cup. You've put us into this new stadium. You've made us invincible. You've left the club better than you found it. Go off into the sunset and enjoy coaching again. Here's a severance package. Let's bring in Pep. Exactly. Andreas. After beating Hull was the time to go. And the club should have said, that's it. You leave on a high. Yep, might have gotten Klopp. Might have gotten Pep. You know, I heard that Pep Guardiola was talking to us. But Arsenal have this tendency to hold on to sentiment. And in sports, you can't hold on to sentiment. Which is why the Dolphins have held on to it. And now we got to pay $99 million. Being sentimental. Sports is not about sentiment. It's about winning. That's what it is. But yeah, if we were proactive, we would have said, there we go. And if we're proactive now, we say, Mikel Arteta, you've had 7 years. You've delivered the trophy you said you were going to deliver it. You've gotten us the league. You've gotten us the double, the domestic double. Maybe you've gotten us the Champions League. You've done something that no other coach has done. Or no other coach has done in a while. Right? Right off into the sunset. Right off into the sunset on the high. Because the one thing that I and a lot of fans were guilty of was we allowed Arsene Wenger to go out like that. We allowed him, we didn't push the club earlier, and we allowed him to tarnish his life, because he did. Near the end, getting pumped 10-2 to Bayern Munich, right? That's not how it was. You know, Mustafi and David Luiz, we held on too long. And now we can appreciate Arsene Wenger. But at the time, the way he was treated, the way the fans treated, the way the media treated, like, he should have never gone out that way. And the one thing that I can say about Sir Alex Ferguson is he knew when to walk away. He knew when to walk away. He said, you know what? I've won it. I've won in different decades. The game is going in a different direction. It's time. And it's hard for a coach to do that. It's hard for a coach to walk away. But you have to have some self-awareness. Jack says ego and $15 million means he won't. Obviously. If they's paying me $15 million too, Jack, I probably won't walk away as well. Let's say Henry can teach them a championship mentality and invincible mindset. Exactly. After being Hull was the time to go. Yep. Might have gotten Klopp if we had. Yeah. You know, maybe we would have won the Champions League. Elwood said Pep wanted the Arsenal job. Yes, and we held on to Wenger. Sentiment. Right? When the stadium was paid off, you should have said, all right, let's go in a new direction. Thank you for everything. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, bro. But that's sports. George Graham would still be Manchester one for the tax bump, probably. And you know what? On kind of the whole George Graham and Arsene Wenger thing, I think David Dean leaving as well was kind of the beginning of the end. because from and I wasn't a fan then, but I do read. From what I've read, they were like yin and yang. They kept each other in check. And I think that to have a successful team, any successful team, your coach and your general manager or your coach and your sporting director have to have a symbiotic but honest relationship. And you see with how we were running under the early years of Mikel Arteta, I don't think it was symbiotic. I think it started there, and then you could see Arteta got more power. And then Edu was getting scapegoated for everything. And don't get me wrong, Edu he got scapegoated at Nottingham Forest as well because they sacked him as well. So, yeah, maybe it was Edu, but most of your successful sports teams, you have a successful head coach and a successful GM. Look at the Ravens. Look at the Patriots. Look at the Celtics. Danny Ainge. Look at the Lakers. Look at the Miami Heat. Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra. There's symbiosis there. They understand each other. The manager can't do too much. The sporting director can't do too much. Yin and yang. That's not what we have here, though. And maybe we do. Because Berta's coming. But as a coach, when you have no one to check you, in any management position, when you have no one to check you, when you have no one to tell you no one to tell you that's not a good idea, that's when things start to fall apart. Because you start believing your own hype. You start believing that it doesn't matter what I do. I'm the guy. I'm everything. And that's not a good attitude to have. Only Real Madrid and Chelsea sack successful managers. No way Arteta goes after winning a trophy. Exactly. Now, not just any trophy. I think no way he goes if he wins the league or the Champions League. Now, if he wins the domestic cups, he gotta go. Cause it sound like Josh said you gotta win one of the big ones. But yeah, if he wins the league, and I've been on panel shows. I was on the Monday Night Madness, and I was on. They asked me the same thing. If he wins the Champions League or he wins the league, do you stick with him? You have to, because he has to have an opportunity to build on it. You have to. That's fair. But I go back, and I always go back to evidence. You won the FA Cup. Did you build on that? No, you didn't. You didn't win more trophies. You didn't win the FA Cup and then go win the Europa League. You didn't win the FA Cup and then go win the Carabao Cup. You won the FA Cup and didn't win anything for 5 years. So winning the league under this manager, doesn't guarantee we're going to win anything the year after. We can hope. And that's why I said, if he wins this year, he gets another year. But you got to win something. And it can't just be winning the league and then winning the Carabao Cup. If you win just the league, then you got to win the Champions League next year. If you win the Champions League, don't win the league, you got to win the league next year. If you win then, if you win the double, then I expect you to make a final. I expect you to be in the final of the league. And even then, it's hard to go back to back and win those trophies. And that, that's being serious and being honest. But at least make the final. At least be there and thereabouts. If you win the league and the next year we get dumped out of the Champions League in the quarterfinal and we lose the league by 7 points, but we win the FA Cup, that's not good enough. That's not progress. That's not maintaining a standard. So yeah. On Mikel, I think we'll win, so I think we'll have him next year. But like you guys said, Jack and Coop and Elwood, we have to be proactive. And I would definitely like Luis Enrique because I think that, one, like I said, I think he's won everything at PSG, and I think that he will want a new challenge. But my biggest fear is what ends up happening is that Pep Guardiola steps away. He says, let's say we win the league or we win the Champions League and he wins the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. He'll step away and say, I'm done. And then Man City will go out and get Enrique. They will pay Enrique. And now they've got Enrique. Liverpool have gone out and got Xabi Alonso. And we're stuck with Mikel Arteta playing the same type of football while they're just bopping us around the park. And then we go from winning the league to finishing third. Chelsea sack Rossinier and get in Carlo Ancelotti or get in someone like that. That's my biggest fear. But as always, I'm open. I'm open to seeing what Mikel Arteta can do. I'm open to seeing how we respond to the pressure. How we respond to the pressure of the title race, how we respond to the pressure of the Champions League, and how we respond to the pressure of the Carabao Cup. That's what I'm hoping for. Lastly, on Arsenal, and then I'll talk about the next thing. Because it's an Arsenal channel, so we always going to waffle about Arsenal. But the last thing on Arsenal, we've got Everton coming up. And I will be doing a match preview and a match review. We need to win it at all costs. We need to win it, but we also need to prove that we can score goals. Everton are high in the away form table. They can get a result away from home. And it's one of those matches that my friend Woody took me to in the past. And I recall a 0-0 Everton at home. And I'm pretty sure you guys recall it. Tough. And it's one of those matches where that can happen. A 1-1, a 0-0. We've seen how we're playing. We're seeing how Saka's playing. And I think we need to have a conversation about Saka as well. He did not play well. And I think that it may be time to try Madueke there at the start or give Dauman a run out. At this point in the season, I want the best player. Sentiment goes out the window. I want our best opportunity to pick up 3 points or to progress in the cups. So if Bukayo, my star boy, has to sit down on the bench to do that, do it. If Kai Havertz has to play in the 10 and Ezra got a whole bench, do it. If Nkapé got to play over the wild horse, Calafiori, do it. Anything by any means necessary, we need to win. So that's my bid on Arsenal. Lastly, let's talk about the NBA. As you guys can see, I got your boys kit. Bam, Bam, Adebayo scoring 83 points. 83 points. Now, I am old enough to remember when Kobe dropped 81. And that night was crazy. Kobe was on smoke. What I've heard a lot of people say about Bam's 83 points is he scored a lot of free throws. He wasn't efficient from the field as far as threes, and he shot a stupid amount of times. But guess what? You got to shoot to score. And 83 points is nothing to laugh at. Do I think, and I'm being objective as possible, I think Kobe's 81 was a little bit more impressive because of how Kobe did it. But I'm not scoffing at 83 points. He's moved to second, all-time most points scored. It just gets me to thinking, too, if they had let Clay play the way he was shooting them threes, maybe he'd have gotten 80 points as well. But yeah, I'm not gonna take away from Bam Adebayo. And yeah, the Wizards suck, but guess what? They play basketball just like he does. I'm and it's the Miami Heat. I'm a Miami boy, so I love anytime a guy who in Miami colors, anytime they show up and show out, I'm there for it. I'm gassed because yeah, man, it doesn't. Being a Miami sports fan is tough. We talked about it in the last stream. The Dolphins suck. The Hurricanes just got back to relevance. The Panthers just won their first couple Stanley Cups. The Marlins stink. The Heat are the gold standard of winning basketball. Winning in Miami. I've seen 3 Heat titles before I've seen a Dolphin one. Before I've seen the Hurricanes win another one. Before I've seen the Marlins win after the World Series. So, yeah, bro. 83 is nothing to scoff at. You play who you play. You play who's in front of you. And if they were sorry enough to give up 83 points, if they were sorry enough to try to foul you, and they were sorry enough to not stop you, how is that your fault? Now, and people will say, "Oh, but they was blowing them out. They scored 150, and they kept them in the game." Yeah, because if any player, right? Any player who has an opportunity to do something where they're when they're in the conversation for most of anything, most touchdowns, most yards thrown in the game, most receptions in the game, they want to do that because you go down in history. I mean, we're still talking about Wilt's 100-point game. What? 50 years later? More than that, probably. So it's a big thing when you get near the top. Jack said Kobe got taken off 4 minutes before the end of the game when he dropped 81. Yeah. Yeah, he did. For me, bro, growing up, I could not stand Kobe Bryant. May he rest in peace. Couldn't stand him as a basketball player. Because every time he played Miami, he gave us the smoke, man. Him versus Wade, bro. Gave us the smoke. And I felt like in the early bit, right? In the early bit with Kobe, because Shaq left and came to Miami, I feel like every time he played Miami, he was trying to bust us up, bro. He's trying to show Shaq, like, I am the man still. That's how I felt. So every time the Lakers come through, Kobe was giving us work, bro. I ain't gonna lie. But I feel like Kobe was the closest thing to Jordan, bro. Cause that Lakers team he took with, like Andre Bynum and Paul Gasol. That Lakers team wasn't that great, bro. And he took him. He took him to the chip. Kobe was something else, bro. Jack say can't front on Bam. Miami smoked the Wizards. We did, and I'm happy to see it. Cause we've been kind of middle of the road. And the thing too, like, the thing with Bam is, in a way, I kind of view him like Saka, right? And this is why I love him, right? Because Bam was kind of left with the team. Tyler Hero was supposed to be like the next thing, but he got injured, and then what's his name? Jimmy Buckets, he leaves, so Bam becomes the man by proxy. Same thing with Bakayo. Aubameyang leaves, you become the man. You are the scoring man. Like, and he carried us. Saka carried us at points, and Bam carries the Heat. Yeah, they got Norman Powell, but there are points where Bam was the guy. He was carrying the team. He averaged 19, this season, and yeah, he got an opportunity to score 83. That's great. Also, I think he's been a little bit better since him and Ezra Wilson been since they've been together. So I think Bam is pretty good. Kobe was a pain in the ass. Yes, he was. Very much so. The thing about Kobe's 81, that was at the end of his career. Bro, the guy Kobe was tough. When you look up tough in the dictionary, you see Kobe. That guy took free throws with a busted Achilles. Bro, I told my MCL I want my whole leg to fall off. I tore my meniscus and sprained my MCL, and I want my whole leg to fall off. This man tore his Achilles. You could see it, and he said, "You know what? I'm still gonna take the free throw." Tough. Kobe was just a winner, bro. He was a winner. You know what? I actually got some. I got some Kobe's in there. I'm gonna show you guys. Maybe on the next Mazda, I'll show you guys. I got a pair of Kobe's, right? The high top joints, and they're electric. They're electric blue and yellow. Like, they are the high top joints, and I love those shoes. I've only worn them 5 times because I love them so much. But yeah, I have a shoe collection as well. I collect a lot of things, guys. But yeah, Kobe was different, bro. He was different gravy. And yeah, man, he was amazing. But yeah, you can't discount Bam because it was the Wizards or because, the NBA is soft. We know that they give fouls for everything now. Like, when I started watching the NBA, you watch the Pistons, Chauncey Billups and them, man, fighting each other. Fighting teams. And now, you blow on LeBron, it's a foul. So if they gonna call a foul, then you gotta score the free throws, and he did. You can't take that away from him. And I'm gonna love it. And I love this. I love this kid as well, right? And I always do this because I'm a kid guy. So, because we're gonna wrap up soon anyway, because I need to eat. But yeah, this is one of my favorite jerseys, bro. Right? The Miami matchup jersey. I love this jersey. You got the Floridians, the old school Heat, the Miami Vice, and then, but yeah, 75 years. I'm a kid dude, right? I'll leave it like that so you can see the Miami swagger. But yeah, I love the Miami Heat, the Heat stuff. And then of course you guys can see this one. I think we talked about it in the other chat. But yeah, the pink joint. I love this kit as well. Love the pink joint. This is my holiday one. I like to wear this one on holiday because I like to be in Spain. I like to be in Florida. I like to be in the Caribbean. And yeah, I like to wear light colors, bro. Because if you go out there wearing the black, you go to the Caribbean wearing the black Arsenal jersey, you done for it, boy. You sweating. Jack said, "Mick, I watched the 83 points Black Bam play with." I think he always plays well. I think he's a solid guy. I mean, 20 points, averaging 19, 20 points. It's solid. It's not the Kobe's and the Waves where you're averaging 30 a night. But like I said, like Bakayo, he's holding the thing together. He's been the guy. He's holding the team together. He's keeping us competitive. You can rely on Bam, the captain Bam. Like, you can rely on him, and I respect that more than anything. I respect that more than anything. Because one thing, and I'll close pretty soon because I want to do an hour and a half. But one thing that I will say about Miami teams is it's so hard to lose your way when you're in Miami. It's so hard because Miami is a place. From a sports view, you're at the gateway to the Caribbean. You've got big houses. You've got nice weather. You got beautiful men and women. All right, got to be inclusive. You have beautiful weather, beautiful people, good food. But from a sports perspective, you have no state tax. So it's so easy for players to come to Miami and switch off. I've watched it for years with the Dolphins. Look at Tyreek Hill. Great for a couple seasons, and then when things go wrong, they just go off the deep end. I've watched it. And the one thing I love about the Heat is Pat Riley has an iron fist, and he's always said, "I don't want divas." While LeBron didn't come back. And it sucks because we probably could have gotten LeBron to come back. If we had catered to him a little bit. I don't want divas. I want people who work hard and want to win. And I think that Bam staying, because Bam could probably go somewhere else and make a lot. Jimmy left. Jimmy wanted out. He left. You know, it's as a Miami fan, I've watched some of my favorite players leave. I watched some of my favorite players get shipped out. I watched some of them throw the toys out of the pram and leave. You know, growing up, I love Ricky Williams. We got rid of him. I watched Zach Thomas go to the Cowboys. There's not a lot of loyalty in Miami either when it comes to clubs. So I think that the Heat are the one club that I can say are consistent. When they win, they treat the players well. The players want to play here. They want to give everything. They like being part of the Heat culture. And that's what I love. And I wish the Dolphins could get it. Miami's getting it back. The Hurricanes. They're getting it back. Cristobal is bringing back the swagger, but bringing back the discipline as well. Because some of the Hurricanes teams, atrocious. You know they were just there for the vibes. And that's it, bro. That's it. So I'm proud of Bam. Good 83 points. He played well. He's kept us going. And if he can keep it going, if he can keep going, we can keep winning games. We're on a 6-game win streak. We can keep winning games. We might not be in a play-in. Because the play-in tournament sucks. You want to actually make the playoffs. But yeah. I'm proud of the guys. So, big up. And the last bit, any closing remarks from the community? Any closing questions? Anything you guys want me to talk about? Put them in the chat. Next 2 minutes, I'll chill. I'll talk to you guys, and then I'll be out. Go get me something to eat, and then I'll tell you guys to head over to Shane Gooner to watch the Bruised Banana. But yeah, shout out to Inter Miami MLS champs. And yeah, I have an Inter Miami kit as well. I remember when Inter Miami were being formed. I was still in middle school, so I was about 12 when they were talking about it. 12, 13, 14. It was when David Beckham went to LA Galaxy, and they told him that he would have a $25 million option to start a franchise once he retired, as props for coming to LA, and he chose Miami as a spot. And I remember initially the Inter Miami wanted the site that the Marlins play on. They were gonna do a stadium in the lot next to the Marlins stadium, but the Marlins ownership were like, well, you can't have sponsors that clash with us. So bless up, Jagons. You can't have sponsorship that clashes with us. You can't have this and that. It's got to be this color, that color. So eventually they pulled out. And for a long, long time, it seemed like Inter Miami wasn't going to be a thing. And then eventually he got the team. And what they did was they took the old Lockhart Stadium where they play now. It was the old Lockhart Stadium, which is where Broward football teams, like the Broward high school football teams, used to play their games, like their championship game for Broward. That's where they used to play. They tore that down. They made Drive Pink Stadium, or whatever it's called now, Chase Stadium, I think it is. And then they've started already next to the airport. They got rid of the Mel Reese golf course, and they're building the stadium on that. So I've been part of Inter Miami being the hometown club since their inception. I don't watch them much because of Messi. That sounds terrible. I don't watch because of Messi. I don't watch because I don't want to see an aged Messi. I saw Messi in his prime, and I'm not a fan of MLS because it's slow and boring. It's the epitome of U.S. football, and I'm not a fan. So I support them because they're my local team, but I'm not going out of my way to watch, to be honest. Now, if Puerto Rico gets a team, we were supposed to get a team, Puerto Rico FC, which is supposed to be kind of headed up by Carmelo Anthony, but that never actually became a thing. The logo's still out there, but it never actually came to fruition. So yeah, I mean, on that, yeah, that's Miami thing. So yeah, I followed Inter Miami for a long time, Miami Heat, but I'm a sports guy, which is why I got all these balls and stuff on the logo. You know, I got the soccer ball and the baseball, tennis ball. I ain't watching tennis though. I think that it just populated that, but if it ain't Coco golf, we ain't talking about it. Golf we not talking about unless it's Tiger Woods. But yeah, I can chat about baseball. World Baseball Classic is going on. Another sport that Puerto Rico can win. So I'm proud of them guys for that. I love my Boricuas. I like when we do well. Baseball seems to be the one thing that we've always solidly been good at. You watch boxing? No. Muhammad Ali is probably the last person on. I don't like boxing because of Floyd Mayweather. You know, the whole 40-0 thing, ducking fights when people are old. Nah, bro. You know, and then I don't feel like boxing is what it used to be. You know what I'm saying? The Oscar De La Hoya days and before. Like, I feel like people just be ducking fights and picking when they think they can win. Nah, man. I did watch that dude get his hairpiece punched off, though. That was crazy. Crazy word, bro. You're right. MLS is a hard watch. It is, man. That's why I don't support the U.S. national team. That's why. And now with what's going on in the world, I'm definitely supporting Spain for the World Cup, man. I feel Spain. I lived in Spain and I love Spain. Yeah, I think I'm gonna support Spain for the World Cup. But I'm also gonna support England because I live here because I definitely want to see football come home if it can. Answer that. You watch boxing. Jack Swagger. Props because they think Ryan Post should have been in charge for a decade. Ownership stays out of the business. The Ericksons are great, bro. They pay the money. They do what they can, but they know that they know what they know, right? And I think a lot of problems with sports is sometimes owners do too much. And the biggest example of that, Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. Right? Jerry Jones should not be the owner and the GM of the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones runs the Dallas Cowboys similar to how Trump runs America. Based on feeling, not facts. I'm gonna draft this guy because we like him. No, Jerry, you need to draft a guy because you need to win. You need an offensive line, Jerry. You need a decent quarterback, Jerry. That's what you need. Not because you like this guy and he interviewed well. You need what your team needs. Jerry Jones is the biggest reason the Cowboys haven't won anything, and he doesn't realize it. The best owners know what they know, right? You look at Indianapolis. Jim Irsay's daughter, Kelsey. She knows what she knows, but she also checking her investment. I'm not getting in the way, but I need to make sure that you know what you're doing, because I'm paying you. So I get that. These guys are billionaires, right? But when owners start, they don't know anything about sport, or they don't know anything about, like, and this is why I don't like American owners in football. Bro, the Cronkies don't know anything about football. They probably couldn't tell you half of the history of the Arsenal. Just being honest. Todd Bowley don't care about Chelsea that much. The Glazers, Man United, don't care. Fenway Sports Group, they might care a little bit because at least they actually put forth money every now and then, and they got clout. So, but Fenway, no, they're smart enough to put football people in charge. So when owners start getting in their own ways because they think that they know everything because they got money, you won't succeed, bro. And this is why the Cowboys are where they are. This is why the Dolphins are where they are. Orlando Magic and the DeVos family is an example of stupid ownership, always meddling. They fumbled Shaq and... Bro, I was young, so I didn't know the difference between... not the difference. I didn't know that Shaq came from Orlando. When I was growing up, I just always assumed the dude was busting my head with the Lakers because that's who drafted him. But then when I got older and I saw the story, I said, bro, y'all had Penny Hardaway and Shaq. How did you fumble that? You had Dwight Howard. How did you fumble that, bro? How did you fumble that? It's crazy. And Shaq, bro, imagine if the Orlando Magic had kept Shaq and maybe got him some more help. They'd have won, bro. Bro. Dumb. And I bet you they kick themselves every day when they see what Shaq's become. And the crazy thing is Shaq still live in Florida. Because he love it. Goofy. Jagan said, Gooner Rican, what's the main difference between living in Spain versus the UK apart from the obvious apart from the obvious language? There's a lot of differences. I love both countries. Weather is one of them. Spain is obviously more south, but that's kind of an obvious one. I used to live in Andalusia, and I think Spanish people are a lot more laid back than British people can be. The culture is Spanish people, as far as I'm aware, are a lot more welcoming. Depending on where you go, British people can be welcoming as well. But I live in the south of England, and I lived in the south of Spain, and British people are guarded, but when they let you in, they let you in. You know, some of my greatest moments have happened because British people let me in. Like they saw who I was, they see who I am, and they allowed me to be me. Spanish people, they just love you from the start, man. Like, I live next to my neighbors. They used to bring me stuff and everything. So yeah, the culture is different. So in Andalusia, things tend to they open kind of late and they stay open late. Like, you have siesta time, and then like 8-9 o'clock things open and you can actually get things done. Like the supermarket and stuff is open till late. Whereas I feel like in England, besides your Tesco's, it's like where I live, things close super early, bro. Things are closing at 6, 7 o'clock. Like, even the shopping center is closing at 7. Whereas in Spain, your shopping center might open till 9, 10 o'clock. Stuff like that. As far as sport, Spanish fans, to me, are a lot more passionate is not the word. They expect a lot more. I feel like, for me, British fans tend to infight more than I think Spanish fans do. And Arsenal a good example. Bro, we haven't won a trophy in 20 years. The Prem in 20 years. We haven't won a trophy in 5 years. We've never won the Champions League. Yet, we have a section of the fan base, Arteta in and Arteta out. People are defending the manager instead of upholding the standards of their club. Sevilla Football Club won 3 Europa Leagues in a row. Constantly fighting for top 4. Constantly finishing the European places. They finished 17th last season. Do you know what what the fans did to the players? They sat outside the training ground and wouldn't let them out, demanding better. And now they are. They got a new manager. They're better. Do you think English fans would do that? No. Because we can't even come together to figure out what we're protesting about. Because half of the fans are saying enjoy the journey. And half of them are saying we can enjoy the journey by winning. So sports is a little bit different. Also, when you go to a British stadium, they're singing, but it ain't like Spanish singing. Like when I've been to 4 matches in Spain, 5 matches, 4. I went 4 matches in Spain. I've seen Sevilla versus Real Madrid, Sevilla versus Cordoba. Uh, Sevilla played one more. I think it was. Oh God, I think it was a northern team, Basque team. And then I've watched Atletico Madrid versus Villarreal at the old Vicente Calderon. And when I say that, even sat down, people are singing the entire match. People are jumping. People are, and Atletico Madrid lost that match, and they were still singing from the first minute to the 90th minute. Bro, I've been at the Emirates when we're losing, and you can hear a pin drop. You can hear fans trying to get something going, and everybody just groaning. I've been at St. Mary's where Southampton played. Same thing. I've been to, I've seen some of the smaller Spanish stadiums, and they're singing, they're shouting, they're up for it. So yeah, that's some of the differences. As far as living, it's pretty similar because it's European, man. Like the way I paid bills was pretty similar. But both countries are welcoming. The Spanish food is better in my opinion. Although I do love a good steak and nail pie. Spanish food, just sangria, the weather, yeah. I prefer Spain. And me being Puerto Rican and living in Andalusia, Andalusia has an influence on Puerto Rico. If you listen to how we speak Spanish, if you listen to how we kind of conduct ourselves, if you look at how we conduct ourselves, if you look at kind of the culture, it's similar because, when we were occupied by Spain, a lot of Andalusians are the ones who occupied Puerto Rico and who lived there. So a lot of that culture followed. So when I lived in Andalusia, I always felt connection to it because to me it felt familiar, like living in South Florida, living in Hialeah, being Puerto Rican. So yeah, that for me is why Spain always has a place in my heart. Siesta is the move. English fans will leave halfway through the game to protest if you can get them to do that. I mean, look at Spuds. They just left. No one's protesting anything. No one's saying we need a change. They're just accepting it. That don't happen in Europe. Spain, Italy, nah. Even America, bro. When the Bucks fans were protesting John Gruden, and they took the rims off that dude's car, like stuff like that, bro. Jack said, "Have you been to Chiquitos in London?" So I haven't been to the one in London, but we do have one in Portsmouth. And yeah, bro, the ribs and the tacos. Yeah, it's not like Miami, but yeah. Jogons, I hope that answered your question, bro. I did just waffle, but that's what we do over here. And I said I was gonna go, but everybody's still here, so we keep chatting. For a little bit more, because as I said, I got to call my wife. You know what I'm saying? But I'll chat for a little bit more. Spurs will be wearing Chelsea shirts next year, bro. I think the championship is actually legitimate a thing. I think it's a legitimate possibility. Someone asked when you think they will get their next win. I don't see it. Jogons, where are you in the world? Where are you in the world? I would love to visit Spain. Been fortunate to visit England twice 2 years ago. England's nice, bro. I like it. Right? I obviously live here. The thing that I love about England is I found an English family. I got a family of guys. I got people that support me. And I've been fortunate, man. And I say this all the time. Like, I've been fortunate because I met a guy who is a diehard Arsenal fan. Um, he's a diehard Arsenal fan. You know, his dad's an Arsenal fan, and I've been fortunate enough to see Arsenal 10 times. I've been fortunate that he's allowed me to do that. You know, I've been fortunate that I got a friend who allowed me to go to the NFL matches with him. You know, I've been fortunate enough to be invited to my British family's house around Christmas when I was here by myself. Like, so, you know, I don't want to say that you can find negative in Spain, you can find negative in England, but my personal experience, I found love in both countries. I love Spain a little bit more because I'm Hispanic. That's that's pretty much it. But I love England, bro. I love it here. I love being able to go to the pub, and the thing about being American in England, right? English people love Americans, right? They love the American culture. But I think like when I go on the tube and in my Arsenal jersey and we start talking football and everybody's kind of like shocked that this American dude, you know, with this um this southern kind of style accent, this guy knows football. Like he knows his history. He knows, a little bit of tactical stuff. They're always shocked, but once you have that conversation, once you open up, bro, I've had the bus driver at my job. We talk every morning, 20 minutes about Arsenal. When I see him, like, and that's beautiful to me. It's just being brought into the family, like, being treated like a person, bro. That's pretty much it. Like a valued member of society, man. And I love it. I love England. There are some knobs, that go abroad and put a bad name. And I know you see those fans when they go abroad and they put a bad name on English fans. But I've met England fans who are great people. I've met Arsenal fans who are great people. Spurs fans, United fans. I love the game, bro, and I love being here. So yeah, you're never gonna get. Do I think that there's things that they could do better? Yeah, same like I do America. Some of the same problems exist, but I love it here. They've embraced me, and I've embraced them. So yeah, that's my spiel on that. Cleveland, Ohio. You Ohio State fan? Please say no. Say you like University of Ohio. Don't say Ohio State. OHIO. No. But yeah, I've never been to Ohio. I think the only place I've been up north, well, in the Midwest, is Chicago. I've been to Chicago twice. Yeah, that's pretty much the only place I've been. I've never been to Ohio. And oh no. I love the England vibe. I have a whole generation of family there in Leeds. Yeah, so Leeds is like up north. And it's crazy, bro, where I live, like, it's considered kind of the posh bit. Um, you know, because it's south, the weather's a little bit better. And things are a little bit more expensive in the south of England. But yeah, I heard that Leeds is a vibe. I like Birmingham. I'd love to move to Birmingham. But just because I like to experience the Midlands. I like to, I've been here Thank God, Jargon. Thank God you're not an OSU fan. Thank you for that. You're cool around here now. But yeah, I think as far as the north that I've been is Birmingham. I haven't really been to experience anything, and I've been here 7 years. And I think that sometimes you live in a place and you don't really experience all it has to offer because you always think you have more time. But yeah, I have a list of places to go. Like I want to go Cardiff. I want to go to Edinburgh, Glasgow, Newcastle. I want to do Dublin. So yeah, I've got a list of places I want to go in the UK. But as far as England, I want to live in London for a little bit as well. I live an hour and a half away from London. I do want to live in London. Wanted to be closer to the Arsenal, but just because where I live, it's a little bit quieter, and I want to be amongst the hustle and bustle. Jack said, "I love London. Been to Spain, but only Madrid." I've been to Madrid, Barcelona, and obviously I live in Andalusia. So you know, I lived I live about an hour southwest of Sevilla, like near Jerez, and Cadiz. So I lived around there. I've been to Malaga. I've been to Gibraltar. I've been to Valencia. I've been to Barcelona, Madrid. Um, when it comes to Europe, man, I've been a lot of places in Europe. I've been to Lisbon. I've been to Paris, Marseille, um, Bucharest, Budapest, Athens, Copenhagen, Rome, Venice, Milan, Napoli. Um, where have I been? I've been to Berlin. I've been to Malmo. I've been to, that's like Copenhagen. I've been to Reykjavik. Um, so yeah, I've been around, man. Because when you get to Europe, it's very easy to travel around Europe. It's just the getting from the U.S. to Europe. But now that I live here, it's very good. As a U.S. citizen, was it hard to stay and be a resident in the U.K.? Yes and no. Um, it's the UK has they have immigration fears kind of like the U.S. So every year that I've been here, it's become a little bit more stringent. I did university here, so it was more expensive. So I paid probably 3 times what the average UK student will pay. Um, but it was worth it for me because it was only 4 years. Well, it was 3 years for the bachelor's, 1 year for the master's. I did both, so I do have a master's degree. Um, and then I work for the National Health Service, which helps you. Well, it used to help you because they're changing it again, but I think I've been grandfathered in for the moment. So yeah, it just depends. They want to know that you can actually contribute to the British kind of country, especially England. They want to know that you're contributing and not actually taking anything. So you have to prove like that you're earning over a certain threshold. You know that my job was kind of on the because it's a healthcare job. It's on the we need these people list. So that's how I was able to do it. So if you work in healthcare, it might be a little bit easier. Of course, STEM. If you work in those kind of fields, they'll want more people. But yeah, it's a little bit more stringent. As far as being a U.S. citizen in the UK, I haven't had a problem, man. I haven't had a problem being a U.S. citizen. I've gotten a driver's license. I drive on the wrong side of the road. Um, I've gotten. I pay all my bills. I've gotten all the stuff that I need. It hasn't really been a hard, kind of a hard journey for me. Maybe that was just luck. And I also got in initially before Brexit. So I just kind of call it, just doing that. But yeah, it's been it, it's tedious because they want to make sure that let me remove this because we we talking about Bam. We're not talking about Bam now, but yeah, they made it a little bit harder because they want to protect their country, but it hasn't been too hard for me. Um, Jagan said I was fortunate to do the Arsenal Stadium tour and would love to go to a game sometime in the near future. Yeah, man, Arsenal Stadium tour is great. So what I used to do when I was here, because I went to uni by myself. My wife stayed in the U.S. Because she was working and her job was paying well, so it just made sense for us to do it like that. But what I used to do is I used to take the tour um, every year before the season. And as you can tell, I'm a waffler. I like talking to people. So what I used to do is I just do the tour by myself. And then like the stewards and the people that are helping you, I'd ask them about their experiences. That's what I love, man. So my background, my degrees are in psychology. With kind of I want it to be a health counselor. Not a health counselor, but a mental health counselor. And I like speaking about experiences, and that's pretty much what my degree was focused on, sociology and psychology. So I like hearing people's experience and stories. And there was this older gentleman. I tell this story. I told this story in the beginning, but older gentleman, he'd been an Arsenal fan for donkey's years, man, 50 years probably. And he was just telling me about his times at Highbury, and this was a couple years back. So this was, I think, after we had bottled it the first time. But I was talking to him, and he was like, you know what? I think we can do it. He said, after saying last season, that sucks that we didn't make it, but I think we could do it. And I hope he's still around. He was retiring, I think. But I hope he's still around, and I hope he still feels good, because we should have definitely won for a lot of people. But I was talking to him, and he was telling me about, his story. And I remember he was in the middle bit, the stadium bit. And I was just talking to him while we was looking at kind of the history. And then in the tour, there's that like the Diamond Club Lounge, and they got the thing, and you go down and you see the club seats. And I was talking to him, and I was like looking at the pitch, and he was telling me about his best moments and stuff. And I remember I left. I was like, thanks so much for talking to me. It's so great to hear your story. I remember I left, and then when you go to the Arsenal tour, the museum's outside, so you get it along with the Arsenal tour ticket. So I did. And I came and I walked around, and they let me walk around, slow and stuff. There was no like time limit. And I come out, and he was standing there, and he said, stay here. I've got something for you. And he leaves, and he comes back, and he says, I want to give you this. He gave me Fever Pitch, right? And I should show it, and I'll probably show it on the next one, on the next thing. So come back, but I'll show you the book that he gave me. But he gave me Fever Pitch, and it was like the members version. I don't know when they had given it to the members or whatnot, but it looked like the old Highbury version. And he gave it to me, and he said, I want you to have this. And I had him sign it. I said, because to me, I was like, it was like being inducted into the family. Like, you're an Arsenal fan, right? You're a troll, bro. But all right. Yeah, because he's like, you're an Arsenal fan, and it felt like I was a part of the family. I felt like I was a part of the family. So, yeah, he got me in there, and he gave me the book, and he signed it, and I was just so glad to have that, and I still have it to this day. So yeah, I did the tour, and I always do it, and I always speak to them, and that was just such a great moment for me. Jack said, you're an Arsenal fan, so you're contributing to society. Yeah, I could, like I said, could have been a Spurs fan, and causing property values to go down. Is that what you do now, mental health counseling? No, I work in administration, work in medical administration. That's what I do now. So, no, I'm not doing that for now. My visa is also tied to my job, so I'm doing the job, one, because I like it, but also because it keeps me here in the UK. Stoney said, do you also collect books? Yes, but you knew that already. Anywho, I collect certain books. I have a bookshelf. Listen, my wife probably thinks there's something wrong with me, and that's okay, because I got a collection of jerseys, I got a collection of books, and I got a collection of shoes. That's what I collect. She got a collection of shot glasses and magnets. So, but yeah, Spurs fans, we need your services this year. Move to White Hart Lane. I would never. I would never. And like I said, I've been to Tottenham Stadium, and it's beautiful. I can't front. I can't lie. I gotta be honest. It's a beautiful stadium. However, I wouldn't want to live anywhere near it. The area's kind of run down, and I wouldn't want the Tottenham stink on me, man. I might lose brain cells or cool points or something. Like, I wouldn't want that for me. So, yeah. That's like me working for the Jets. Like, I've had that question as well. Like, they asked me as a Dolphins fan, would you work for the Jets? Yeah, because I love American football, but it would burn me up inside, and I would never let Like that dude said, I've never let it touch my skin. But yeah. So beautiful stadium, pity about the team. Yeah, bro, it's a nice stadium. Watching it for the NFL, it was a great experience. Watching it for the NFL, but yeah, man, I'm just like, why did such a crap team play in it, right? So yeah, but yeah, man, that's it. That's the midweek Mazza. Um, we talked about the Champions League, we talked about Bam, and we talked about the waffle because that's what we do here. Every time I say I'm gonna do an hour stream, um, yeah. Every time I say, but I like talking to the community. If you guys will talk to me, I'll stand on as much as you want to talk. What kind of books do I collect? Anything that catches my eye, really. To be honest, it's mostly I like World War II, and that's another thing I like about living in England. You have a very close history of how World War II was, bunkers and forts and things. So yeah, I'm really into that. Really into the World War II stuff. Just because we all could have been speaking a different language, and it's crazy how just a certain series of events change history. And then I also collect Arsenal books. So I have the last book I actually read, and I'm behind in books now because I've been doing this YouTube thing and not actually reading. But I read Tony Adams' Addiction, his first addiction book, or Addicted, and I love those kind of raw, candid uh, autobiographies, and especially his because it takes a big man to admit that even when you were at the top of the world, you had a problem, and to help people go through that problem because there's somebody going through everything, and that's why I like the YouTube. That's why I talk to people because you never know, man. Having a conversation with me might change someone's outlook, might change someone's day. Even if there's only 5 people in here, if I make 5 people's day better, then that's good enough for me. So that yeah. John Gons, thank you for sharing your experience. Yeah, man. I've been very fortunate, man, and then I have to think with ever higher power there is that I have been fortunate, man. Where I grew up in the hood. I grew up poor, and if you had told me, when I was 10 years old that I'd be in my early 30s in England, watching a sports team on YouTube, having my bills paid, traveling the world, married for a decade, like, yeah, man, I look like you. I looked at you like you was crazy, and told you to jog on. So, yeah, man, I always want to share my experience. I always want to hear other people's experience, man, because you never know. You might find out that you have like minds, you have, and networks are how things happen. I started playing American football. The great gentleman that I go with to Arsenal, he was my American football coach, and we just had a conversation. We started talking, and one thing led to another, and I went to my first match, and then we kept going. And I just fortunate. What if I had not gone to my university? What if I gone somewhere else? Would I still have that? So everything happens for a reason. But for me, I feel like everything has been great. It's I have up and down like everybody else, but I've been able to experience a lot of things that a lot of people haven't, and I'm very fortunate, and I never take that for granted. So, yeah, thanks for stopping by and listening to me waffle about my experiences. A lot of cool museums in London. Yeah. What's your favorite Arsenal book? My favorite Arsenal book, I like Highbury, the history of Arsenal in N5. Because when you read about how the club came to be and some of the history of the club, the ups, the downs, Anfield '89, the Invincibles, what was going on during the World Wars, like the stadium being bombed. How we bought the stadium. Herbert Chapman. Our history is so rich. It's beautiful. Yeah, is there a little shadiness in it? Yeah, but it's being one of the first teams to have majority black players, being one of the first teams to have mostly foreign players, getting a French manager in an English game, him changing the game, George Graham, taking Tottenham's captain and turning him into an invincible, like things like that, turning him into a beast. Tony Adams, Thierry Henry, getting a winger from Juventus and making him the greatest player that the Premier League has ever seen. That for me is the beauty. So yeah, I love that book, man, and I'm gonna go read it again because you just reminded me. All right, I'm back on my reading. Thank you, Jack. I appreciate it, and John Gons. Thank you guys. Ray Parler's book is good. I have that on my list. Ray Parler. I want to read Thierry Henry's book as well, and then of course Uncle Ving's. I want to read. I want to read about his experience because you see what the media says and you see what he says, and the truth is usually somewhere in the middle. Bro, praise God, you're lucky you could have ended up a Spurs fan. Never. I just explained to you, the chicken on the beach ball wasn't happening, bro. Wasn't happening. There's nothing menacing about a chicken on the beach ball. Cannon, yes. Lion, yes. Red Devil, yes. Even the liver bird, right? You see the gates, Shankly Gates. You see something. Chicken on the beach ball? Nah, bro. My uncle was part of the Windrush. He transitioned 2 years ago as one of the last living members of that inaugural book. Right, that's big, man. It's big. The Windrush generation. I want to read about them as well, because England has been shaped by a lot, man. England has been shaped by a lot. The Gurkhas, Windrush, and even now, like you have your Muslim population, you have your Pakistanis, your Indians, like England is shaped by a lot of that, and it's sad to see what's going on in the world. But I love to see the Battle of Bamber Bridge in England was something that I read about as well, when black people weren't when segregation was going in America and they came over here and fought the war, and black people weren't allowed into certain places, and the English basically said, no, we don't do that here. And there was a big fight where American officers were trying to chastise black American soldiers, and British people stood up for them. It was like, we're not gonna have that here. Reading about that, and that's why it's kind of sad when you see what's going on in England. With the whole thing, and I don't want to get too deep into politics, but yeah, man, it's sad that that's what it's become when you see people. And what I will talk about is racism in football, and when you see the Vinicius Jr. stuff, when you see people throwing bananas, and that's the one thing, like England and Spain, I love those countries, but that's a black stain on both of them. The banana thing for Vinicius and them, and then how they treated Bakayo and those when the penalties were missed. I don't forget those things. So yes, there are good things, and I'm lucky that my experience hasn't been that, and it's been love and acceptance and peace. But it's not the same for everyone else, and you can't separate those things sometimes, because that is a part of the culture. It's a part. You have to take it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But I do remember that all people aren't the same, and there's bad eggs in every society. There's bad eggs in every country. I'm just lucky and blessed that those bad eggs are nowhere near me. So yeah, on that one, that's my bit. I want to grab that book, Black Arsenal. I'll add it to my list. Add it to my list as well. I wish I had seen Ian Wright and Rocky Roadcastle, man, because it's something about swag. Me being from Florida, we like golds. We usually do golds in the mouth. I got a gold chain, right? I got a gold chain. So like, yeah, we like gold stuff, gold chain, gold earrings. Like, So seeing, Uncle Riley with the gold chain and the gold tooth, you know what I'm saying, it would have been nice. But yeah, man, I like that, embracing that culture. Look him up. He became a celebrity of sorts after his latter years. His name is Alfred Gardner. I feel like I've heard that name, but I will look it up. I'll add it as well. But see, this is the great thing about the chat, man. You learn something new about people. You learn something new about yourself. So yeah. But yeah, man. Thank you guys for talking to me. Ankh symbol. Yeah, yeah. Symbol of life. Symbol of life. And yeah, I wear it because my life has been better than I ever imagined growing up. Like I grew up in a not so nice part of South Florida. I grew up in Miami, the inner city. I grew up in a small town called Belglade, which is very impoverished. And to be where I am now is nothing short of blessings, miracles, and hard work, man. That's it. So yeah, life means a lot to me. Life, love, and the pursuit of football, right? the life, love, and the pursuit of the Prem. That's where we're at now. So yeah. Big up Joggons. Thank you for coming. Jack, as always, Elwood, Andreas, Stony, Elwood is what did I say? Elwood, yeah. Waffle Don for popping in here as well. And of course, Big Coop for stopping by. But yeah. Thank you guys for coming, man. And I hope that you guys stick around. I hope that you guys, stay in the community. Because I like having these conversations, bro. I like having these conversations. So, yeah, I will see you guys. I still need to figure out whether I'm going to this Everton game. But if I don't go, I'll see you guys on the preview. If I do go, I'll still do a 5-minute preview. It'll be pre-recorded. And then I'll do the match review. It'll be kind of on TikTok. And as you can see at the bottom, you can follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram, follow me on YouTube. Stoney said I could listen to you talk forever. Well, we got forever to go, love. But yeah, like, share, subscribe, and hey, you know what too? If you guys are still in the chat as well, I'm gonna put up a post for the Waffle House. And just tell me what you guys want me to talk about, man. Like, I want the community to drive the Waffle House. I've done the first couple because, as you can tell, my community is small. But I'll put a post on YouTube, and I'll put a post on the other socials. Yeah, man, tell me if you guys got questions, if you guys got something you want me to cover. Put it in the Waffle House. I'll put together a thumbnail, and then we'll sit here on the weekend. I'm going to do the Waffle House at the weekend because I said I was going to switch it today. It's probably going to be on Sunday because we play on Saturday. If I end up going to the match, then the Waffle House will be on the Sunday. If I don't, I might do it on the Saturday. So keep your notification bells on. Keep a lookout. But yeah, tell me what you guys want to see. Tell me what you guys want to talk about. And I will see you guys on the next one, man. Thank you guys so much for coming by. Thank you so much for supporting. Thank you so much for sharing. And if you want to be on my socials, you can hit me up on there as well. Take it easy. Have a good night. Love each other. Live life to the fullest. And as always, come on, you Gunners.